Again, my name is Jerry Edmonds, and I have the honor of serving as the Vice President of Workforce and Community Engagement at Advanced Granville Community College. And also, I have the esteemed honor of being the board chair at NC IDEA. Thank you. I have the pleasure of working with Tom Rue and his staff. And at this time, if you all would please join me in giving Tom and his staff, and also any board members in the house, a big round of applause. It takes just a little bit of work to pull this off, right? And I think it's been phenomenal. Food's been good. Have heard great comments about the food. You know, my wife is here. She's the executive director. Shameless plug. She's the executive director of the Edmonds Tennyson Education Foundation. And there was plenty of vegetables yesterday for lunch. And so that's one of the, that's a downside of having your wife at the conference with you. Yeah, I had to put broccoli on my plate and all. It wasn't good, but she really enjoyed the meal. And I'll apologize. I started a trend last year of having like really nice tennis shoes. Remember, I had the purple Coco Golfs on, and I'm so disappointed in myself this year. I just didn't have the time to get a nice pair of sneakers. So for my friend up front, he wore his because he was in anticipation that I was going to do the same. But I'm sorry to let you down. Maybe next year I'll do a little bit better. So how many had the opportunity to work out either last evening or this morning? Show of hands. Look. That is awesome. That's awesome. So that's one of the themes that surfaced yesterday was the fact that as entrepreneurs, we all have to take the time to care for ourselves. In fact, in the fireside chat that Gary and Tom had to close out our day, that was one of the themes that resonated, is that, and then earlier, you'll recall that Molly Hemstreet also spoke about having the joy of your work, right? That we should all enjoy the journey. As LeBouf said, this stuff ain't easy, right? There's a couple of pastors in the house, so I'm not going there with what they really said, but it's not easy, and we all have to take care of ourselves. So I know for all of you, there were all kinds of pearls of wisdom that came out and themes that resonated with you yesterday. So as opposed to me telling you what resonated with me, we have a couple of mics circulating, I think, and if maybe two or three of you could briefly kind of summarize what resonated with you during the course of the day yesterday. So just raise your hand if you feel inclined to. There's one right here, Sarah. There's two up front. Yes, sir.
For me, the networking has been amazing. You can tell by the way I'm dressed, I'm an introvert, and I don't like attention. So I normally would sit in the back. So when I came in yesterday, I went to the back table, and I said, I'm going to sit in the back and just kind of observe. This is my first one. I don't really know anybody. And I said, no, I came right up here to this table. And I've been sitting behind some people eavesdropping on some conversations from the big table. And I've just learned so much just from talking to people. And I wasn't going to ask a question yesterday. And after I asked the question, I had so many great people in this room walk up to me and offer things that they can do.
Right.
And I just find that you rarely see that in these days. People learn stuff and they're gatekeepers and they don't share information. And I've just had so many people extend their hand to me and say, hey, I would love to help you with this. I would love to help you with that. And it just kind of ignited a fire in me. So that's kind of what I got from it. Take advantage of networking no matter where you are.
Great. Awesome. I couldn't agree more. The networking is unbelievable at this conference. Yes, there's another up front.
Hi, guys. Bridget Pfeiffer.
They told you so.
Hey, y'all. First of all, one of the ecosysteming, I love the terminology, the word, and the doing of it. One of my biggest takeaways was Eastern Carolina representing, and I'm really excited for our area. How are we represented as far as coming out and participating in the event? But not only that, also celebrating what NC IDEA has done over the last 38 years, seeing $10 million of giving, $2 million and the micro, but to see that over 81% of that has gone to BIPOC organizations, when you look at giving overall, how sometimes it doesn't even reach a 5%. So to see that coming from NCID just did a lot for my heart. So I want to just say thank you to you guys.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. We have time for one more quick one. I think this lady may have had the mic first. So,
my name is Paula Pingo, and I am the regional EIR for the Charlotte area. And there were a lot of connections made yesterday. The networking was fantastic. But what I thought was very profound was the connection between the entrepreneurial mindset and when Jabouche Printing went up there. I thought that was a major demonstration of the entrepreneurial mindset, and that just sunk in for me. Thank you.
Awesome. One more.
Good morning. My name is Tracy Newkirk, and I'm with Genesis Block in Wilmington, North Carolina, and this is my first time, and it definitely will not be my last.
Yes.
I had two. I texted my husband last night. We're typically together all the time, but we had conflicting things. And I said the real thing that I got out of was rural and commercialization opportunities, making, not just starting, but getting it to commercialization. I heard that a lot yesterday, and so that was really important to us because that's part of our theme. And the other thing that I appreciated so much is being able, believe it or not, we calling ourselves the Wilmington Table. We live in the same community, but a lot of times you don't get to spend time talking and sharing, and at a long term, you go to a meeting and you blah, 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 and then you're out.
Right.
But having the opportunity to network with people that I live in the community with and don't get to network with a lot.
Great. Awesome. Unbelievable perspectives, and I wish we had time to hear everyone's, but I'm kind of getting the hook here real quick. So I'll do a couple of things to also congratulate all of the award winners yesterday. That was, we ended the day on an extremely high note, and so that was really good. And then also to once again thank all the sponsors that you saw rotating a few moments ago. Without your generous contributions, we couldn't do the work that we do. In particular, thanks for our champion sponsor, Wells Fargo Bank, for their generous contribution of $500,000 towards our initiatives in the rural initiative. So thank you so much. So now, the moment we've been waiting for this morning, and I won't go through the entire program of events for today. Tom Rue actually yesterday summarized our day today as well, but we're going to kick off with a fireside chat between Tom Rue and Tom Barkin. All of you know Tom Rue in this room because he works with all of us, but Tom Barkin is the president and CEO of the Richmond Federal Reserve Bank. And I first was familiarized with Tom during one of my early morning breakfast sessions watching CNBC Squawk Box. Any Squawk Boxers in the house? Anyone that kind of starts their day with CNBC? It's a great place to start in terms of business, and it's not just the Fortune 500 companies, but that's where you see a lot of the startups like we all aspire to do that are being listed to either the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. And I saw Tom being interviewed there, and I thought, man, this guy is, he was, and here was the important thing, that months later, the predictions that he made that morning, they were coming to pass. And so since then, every time I see him on Squawk Box, I'm like, Tom, I saw you on Squawk Box. And so he's a regular contributor to that national program. Shortly thereafter, he sent his regional economist, Dr. Laura Ulrich, to Vance Granville Community College and to Vance Granville. And it was shortly after we were coming out of the pandemic. And I was so impressed that Laura came down, she interviewed myself and another workforce development professional from the area, and they were really interested in seeing pretty much and making sure that as a community, we were okay, that we were all right coming out of the pandemic. And since then, we've had a great relationship with the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond. In fact, there was another program that Tom Barkin keynoted in Roxborough, And by then, I was such a fan that I ran up on him, and it was at that point in time, like, he had the security detail, and before I knew it, I was like, wrapped up into the ground. But so I learned, like, you don't make sudden moves around Tom Barkin, man. You just never know. But at any rate, and then this past spring, the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond hosted a Rural Economic Development Summit in Roanoke, Virginia, and I was so grateful for Tom for inviting me to kind of hang out at his table during the course of that event. And during the course of that event, I said, hey, would you consider coming and being the commencement speaker at Vance Gravel Community College for May 2025? And he said, of course I would. So we've been chatting about that this morning. But I say all of that. You can read Tom's bio on page 9 in the program, or you can do the QR code. But extensive experience in what he does. Just a legend and a leader in economic development. And I'm so happy that he has the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond focused on not only rural economic development, but on the community college systems within his District 5, which includes North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, and D.C. So again, without further ado, I'm going to invite Tom Rue and Tom Barkin to come up, and they're going to share in a nice fireside chat with us this morning. Thank you.